Hey y'all, and welcome back to Caitlyn's Corner. So this week we are celebrating Adopt a Cat Month, which is the month of June, and we've got all kinds of cat books for you. And today we have Paris Cat, and this is by Leslie Baker. So we've got Paris Cat. If you're ready, we're gonna get started. On the first day of her first trip to Paris, Alice spots something interesting in Great Auntie Isabella's garden. A mouse! Alice can't resist a good chase or such a tasty treat. So who eats the mouse? The cat might eat the mouse. So the cat's name is Alice. As Great Auntie Isabella is hugging Annie, Alice takes off. Mon Dieu, cries Auntie Isabella, your kitty is escaping. The kitty is escaping. Annie runs after Alice, calling, Alice, Alice, come back. But Alice is having too much fun to listen. So Annie's chasing after her cat Alice, and Alice is chasing the mouse. She runs up one street and down another. She zigzags through the crowds, getting closer and closer to the mouse, but farther and farther from Annie. When Alice nearly collides with a man on a bicycle, the mouse dives to safety. Her chase now over, Alice turns around to find her way back to Annie, but she makes a wrong turn. Uh-oh. So do you think Alice is lost? She can't find Annie anymore. And ends up in a crowded outdoor market. Her nose twitches with delight at all the delicious smells. Cheese, sausages, fish. Mouse hunting has made Alice hungry. Where to begin? So, she's been hunting that mouse, but now she's worked up an appetite, and she's in the market of all places. Alice pauses beneath a fish stall, hoping for a taste. She waits patiently and is rewarded when a small fish slips from a customer's bag and flops in front of her. Alice is about to take a bite when a tomcat hisses at her and claims the prize for himself. Alice hisses back, then turns and heads down the street. So did Alice get the fish? No, the stray tomcat did. Mon Dieu, Paris is full of dogs. Dogs strolling by the market stands. Dogs going in and out of shops. Dogs with fancy outfits. Alice even spots a dog eating from his own dish at a cafe. It's time to find Annie, decides Alice, but first she must sneak by all of those dogs. So Alice has to be very sneaky and creep past all the dogs without them seeing her. Suddenly, a small terrier spots her and begins to bark wildly. Alice hurries on, but the terrier chases her out of the market and through the streets. As they pass some bookstalls along the banks of Seine, Alice begins to slow down, but the terrier gets closer and closer. So now she's got a dog chasing her. To escape, Alice joins a crowd entering the Louvre. She looks around carefully. No dogs here. Alice enjoys the peace and quiet inside the museum, taking time to admire the paintings. So she's in the museum. But not for long, a museum guard catches sight of her and shouts, "No cats allowed!" Alice dashes for the door, more determined than ever to find Annie. Where can she be? So Alice is missing her owner, Annie. She's gotten herself in a real pickle, hasn't she? Halfway across a magnificent bridge, One of those pesky dogs blocks Alice's path. She leaps onto a ledge to escape, but the rude little fella snaps at her. Alice's fur stands on end as she slowly backs away. So there's the dog snapping at her, so she can't get across the bridge. Suddenly, she slips. Oh no! She tries to catch herself, but the dog lunges at her. Alice falls off the bridge to the sea below. Alice is falling into the water. That's so scary. And she's falling, and she's falling, and she's falling. Where she lands safely on the roof of a bateau moche. Alice travels up the river and down again. Where is Annie? So she must have landed on something that was floating in the water. When the boat docks, so that was a boat, Alice jumps off in search of her. Which way to go? So she's looking for Annie. Alice walks all over Paris looking for Annie, but nothing looks familiar to her. She is lost. So poor Alice is lost, and she's all over Paris looking for Annie. Tired, thirsty, and very dirty, Alice strolls through a quiet park. She pauses before a flower bed. The petals look inviting. Soon, Alice is catnapping peacefully among them. So Alice is tired, so she decides to take a nap in the flower beds. When the sun goes down on the Paris afternoon, Alice awakens to the shouts of a gardener waving a rake at her. A crowd has gathered around Alice, and in the crowd are Annie and Great Auntie Isabella. They found her asleep in the flower beds. Have you been sleeping here all this time while I've been looking for you all over Paris? Annie asked Alice. So Annie thinks Alice has been sleeping all this time. Little does she know, Alice has had a lot of adventures that were very tiring. Alice almost smiles. So she's been having a lot of adventures, but she's tired and ready to go home with Annie. So I'm glad they found their way back to each other. And so I hope you enjoyed today, Paris Cat. And be sure to tune in the rest of the week for more cat books. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.